This is Courtney Gadd.
This is Matt King.
And you're listening to
The Bulldog Broadcast.
RES Edition.
Welcome back to First Chapter Fridays. I'm here again with Miss Shannon, and she is going to share some new books with us this Friday.
Well, this time we are going to be looking at a bit more spooky stories. With it being October, I figured that would be a good selection to have. Again, for our younger readers, we're going to start with the first book in the Rossville Elementary series. The first book is called The School is Alive. This is, it'll say on the cover, Jack Chabert, but that is the pen name of Max Brallier, who you may know his stories, which are The Last Kids on Earth. So it's going to be something like that, but for younger readers. And in this case, it's a school story. Chapter 1, It Begins. "This is horrible," said Sam Graves. He was holding up a shiny orange sash. "I can't believe I have to wear this." It was Monday morning, and Sam and his best friends, Antonio and Lucy, were standing in front of their lockers. They were waiting for the bell to ring. "Wait, you're a hall monitor?" Antonia said. "I didn't even know Erie Elementary had hall monitors." Sam kicked it at the floor. "Oh, they do now, and it stinks. The principal called my mom last night and said I had been chosen. Ugh, it's going to be terrible. I have to stand in the hallway and yell, 'Get to class,' and 'No skateboarding.'" "Well, at least you get to wear that cool orange sash," Lucy teased. Sam stuck out his tongue. Ring! "Come on, that's the bell," Antonio said. Sam frowned. "You guys go ahead. I have to make sure everyone has gone into class." "We'll see you inside," Lucy shouted. Within moments, the hallway was totally empty. Totally empty, except for Sam. He began walking the halls. Sam looked through the double doors to the outside. He saw a classmate by the playground. "Hey, Brian," Sam called out. "The bell rang. You should get to class." Brian frowned at Sam. Then he ran past him into the school. "See, everyone hates the hall monitor," thought Sam. He was about to close the door when a cold breeze blew past, and he saw that Brian had dropped his hat near the playground. "My teacher won't mind if I sneak outside for a second," thought Sam. The air outside was like ice. Orange and red leaves whipped across the playground. Sam shoved his hands into his pockets. He could see his breath. It looked like little ghosts were dancing through the air in front of him. Sam looked up at the school building. He thought it looked like an old castle made of crumbling red brick. The paint on the doors and windows was chipped. Big black crows sat on the roof watching Sam. The whole thing gave him the willies. Sam didn't want to be out there any longer than he had to. He ran over to the playground, and he was near the swings when something grabbed his ankle. Sam looked down. His feet were sinking into the sand. Now, of course, feet do sink into sand. But not like this. Something was pulling him under. "Help!" Sam shouted. The sand was above his sneakers. He reached down to try to pull his feet free. The sand was wet. Quicksand? This was just like the quicksand from the old Tarzan movies Sam's dad made him watch. But Sam was pretty sure that quicksand was found in jungles in the movies, not on real-life playgrounds. "Help! The playground is eating me!" Sam shouted. The sand was up to his knees now. Sam fought and kicked. He watched as Brian's hat was swallowed up by the sand. It was no use. The cold, wet sand was up to his waist. Sam squeezed his eyes shut as he was pulled down, deeper and deeper. And you'll have to read chapters 2 to see if he gets rescued. But there are several books in this series if you like something kind of a little spooky to read. Now, for our older ones, we're going to leave the schoolroom and go to Victorian London around 1870, when such things as, bogles are around. Bogles are these horrible monsters that eat children. So if you've never heard of a bogle, you might want to read this book, which is How to Catch a Bogle by Catherine Jinks. Chapter 1, 2 Missing Boys. The front door was painted black with shiny brass knocker that made a satisfying noise when Alfred used it. Rat-tat-tat. Bertie spied a lace curtain twitching in the drawing-room window. "Someone's at home," she remarked. Alfred said nothing. He looked tired after their long walk, but then again, he always looked tired. His gray mustache drooped, his shoulders were bent, his brown eyes sagged at the corners under his wide, floppy hat brim. Suddenly, the door was flung open. A housemaid in a white cap peered at them suspiciously, her gaze lingering on Alfred's frayed canvas trousers and baggy green coat. "Yes?" she asked. "What's your business?" Alfred removed his hat. "The name is Bunce," he replied in his gravelly voice. "I came here on account of I were sent for." "Sent for?" the housemaid echoed. "A Miss Ellen Meggs sent for me by passing word through Tom Cobblings." "Oh!" the housemaid put a hand to her mouth. "Are you the go-devil man?" "A bogler. Aye." "And I'm Bertie. I'm the 'prentice." Because Bertie was very small and thin and pale, she was often ignored. So she liked to wear the most colorful clothes she could find. This summer, her dress was a dull cotton drab, but she had added a little cape made of yellow satin, very soiled and creased, and there were red feathers on her battered straw hat. Stepping out of her master's shadow, she beamed up at the housemaid, eager to make friends. The housemaid, however, was too flustered to notice Bertie. "Oh, why you knock at this door?" she lamented. "The hawker's door is down by the coal hole. Oh, come in quick, before the neighbors see you both." Hustling Alfred and Bertie across the threshold, she slammed the door and said, "I'm Ellen Meggs. I'm the one who sent for you. My mistress knows nothing of this, nor neither won't she, if I have my way." "Ain't she in?" Bertie asked shrewdly, glancing through the door to her left. It opened off a handsome entrance hall that Bertie thought finer than anything she had ever seen in her life. A lofty space with carpet on the stairs and paper on the walls and a bronze statue in one corner. The cedar joinery gleamed and the air smelled of lemon. But there was a broom propped against the hat stand, and through the door she spotted Bertie could make out furniture swathed in dust sheets. "Mrs. Blummeridge is at the seaside for her health," Ellen replied. "Oh, but there's other cats across the way that never leave their parlor window, and they'll have seen you come in sure as eggs." She stamped her foot in frustration, her round pink face growing even pinker under its frizz of sandy hair. Alfred sighed. His shoulders were slumped beneath the weight of his sack, which he never let his apprentice carry, no matter how desperately she pleaded. "What's your particulars, Miss Meggs?" he inquired. "Tom Cobbings had nothing to give, save your name and where I'd find you. Is there a bogle in this house?" Ellen opened her mouth, then hesitated. Her gaze had fallen on Bertie, whose blue eyes, freckled nose, and flyaway curls looked as delicate as fine china. Bertie knew exactly what the housemaid was thinking because everyone always thought the same thing. Only Alfred understood that Bertie was a heroine, brave and quick and valiant. "Oh, I ain't afeard of bogles, Miss Meggs," Bertie announced. "Though I'm only 10 years old, I've helped bring down many a one. Ain't that so, Mr. Bunce?" "Aye, but we've heard enough from you, lass." Alfred was growing impatient. Bertie could tell by the way he shifted from one ill-shod foot to the other. "What's your particulars, Miss Meggs?" he repeated. "Who gave you my name?" "A friend," Ellen answered. "She's Scotch, but lives here in London. She said you got rid of a worry cow or some such thing, as lived in the coal hole in Hackney and took a little shoebinder's child." She threw him a questioning glance, and when Alfred nodded, she continued hastily, "Well, hearing that made me wonder about the chimney sweeps, boys. We've lost 2 in the past month, and I cannot believe they both ran away." By now she was anxiously fiddling with her apron, crushing it between her restless hands, then smoothing it out again. "In Dane Hills, where my ma was raised, a creature they called Black Annis used to eat children and would tan their skins for its adornment, or so I've heard." "Tell me about the sweeps, boys," Alfred interrupted. "They went missing, you say?" "From this house," Ellen assured him solemnly. "They disappeared up the dining room chimney, and no one's seen them since." "Perhaps they're stuck," Bertie proposed. She knew that sweeps' boys often became wedged in chimneys, where they sometimes died. "Oh, no," Ellen shook her head. "That chimney draws as well as ever did, and there's been no stink." Lowering her voice, she added, "The sweep told me them boys must have climbed to the rooftops and run away. They do that sometimes," he said, "but he won't come back, which is strange. And I'll not send for another sweep, no matter what the mistress wants. Not if there's a bad un up there." "We'll find out soon enough," Alfred assured her. Then he raised the subject of his fee. "It'll be a 5 pence for the visit, and 6 shillings a bogle, with the cost of salt on top. Did Tom mention that?" The housemaid gave a grunt. She seemed resigned to the expense, which wasn't unreasonable. "Ma's paying," she admitted. "She won't have me in a house that's bedeviled. But this is a good situation, and if I'm to stay, I must stump up, or Mrs. Plummeridge never will. Mrs. Plummeridge don't believe in bogles or the like. No, not even the ghostly white ladies." She stopped for a moment to draw breath, giving Bertie a chance to inform her that the first 5 pence had to be paid in advance. It was Bertie's job to ask, because Alfred often forgot. Once Ellen had agreed to these terms, they all trooped into the dining room, which opened off the hall. It was a very dark room with maroon walls and a thick Axminster carpet. But the white dust sheets on the tables, chairs, and sideboard lightened the atmosphere a little, as did the muslin roses in the fireplace. Ellen pointed to these roses, saying, "Miss Plummeridge dines in here only at Christmas, or when her nephew comes, for she likes to eat off trays. So we rarely light a fire in these rooms." "Why they cleaned the chimney, then?" It seemed like a foolish extravagance to Bertie, who was finding it hard enough to understand why one person would want so many rooms, let alone so many fireplaces. Ellen explained that her mistress, who was very particular, had a morbid fear of rats' nests in her unused chimneys. Meanwhile, Alfred was examining the marble mantelpiece and the shiny steel grate. "Have ye lit a fire in here since the boys vanished?" she asked Ellen gruffly. "Only once, to see if it would draw." "Did it smoke?" "No." "And you've smelled nothing, seen no strange marks, nor heard any peculiar noises?" Ellen thought hard for a moment. Finally she said, "No." It was Alfred's turn to grunt. Then he surveyed the room, frowning, and told her in an undertone, "We must move that table, and the chairs." "Oh, but—" "Else I catch nothing, and you'll have wasted your 5 pence. So Ellen helped Alfred to shift the table while Bertie moved the chairs. All the furniture was extremely heavy. After a generous space had been cleared in front of the fireplace, Ellen went downstairs to fetch Alfred's fee, leaving him to make his preparations. First, he rolled up the carpet until a wide expanse of the parquet floor was showing. Then he took a bag of salt from his bag and traced a large circle on the ground. But the circle wasn't perfect. He had left a small break in its smooth line, just opposite the hearthstone. When Ellen returned, he was carefully unwrapping a short staff, which had a sharp end like a spearhead. On catching sight of it, the housemaid blanched. "Oh, you'll not be making a mess in here," she exclaimed. "I'll lose my place if you do." Alfred put a finger to his lips. Bertie, who was by the door, took Ellen's arm and nudged her into the hall, saying, "There's a puddle or two on occasion, but nothing to fret about. Oh, dear. Oh, and you must air the room after. And if you stay to watch, you must keep to the hall, quiet as a mouse." Though Bertie spoke with confidence in a calm and steady voice, her stomach was starting to knot and her heart was starting to pound. These familiar symptoms overtook her before every job, but she had learned to ignore them. "And the door must stand open," she finished. "Open and clear. Whatever you do, don't shut the door. Else how am I to escape when the time comes?" By this time, Ellen was wringing her hands. "Oh, must I stay?" she whimpered. "Oh, no, some like to, on account of they don't trust us and think we're running a caper." Bertie grinned suddenly, recalling one man who had paid for his suspicions with a bump on the head. He'd fallen over in a dead faint and had afterwards sicked up all his tea. "Once they see the bogle, they soon change their tune," she remarked, "though they're in no great danger." "Oh, I'll stand clear," said Ellen, "beside the front door." Bertie inclined her head. "With a poker," Ellen added. Bertie didn't tell her that the poker would have little effect on a monster, because she knew that Ellen wouldn't need to defend herself. No customer ever had, and none ever would. Not while Alfred was in charge. Not while Bertie was his apprentice. "Oh, there's nothing to fear," she insisted, patting the older girl's apron bow. "Why, it's no more'n catching a rat, for there's rats as big as bogles where I come from, and they ain't never eaten us yet." Then Bertie laughed gaily and took Ellen's 5 pence and went back to help Alfred bait his trap. Because Bertie is the bait in the trap. She has a way of charming those bogles to come out. But it is a dangerous job as much as she laughs about it. And it's about to get a bit more dangerous as more and more bogles are coming to London. If you, again, like this adventure, there are 2 more bogle stories that follow it. So this could be for some wonderful horror reading for October.
We hope you enjoyed this segment of First Chapter Fridays with Miss Shannon. If you would like to read the rest of these books, they are located in your local Rossville Elementary School library. You can also read them through the Pine system through the Rossville Public Library. How to Catch a Bogle is also located on the Palace Project and free ebooks and audiobooks. We hope you have a wonderful fall break. Let us know what books you want to hear from next. Bulldogs out.